Most people believe Warren Buffett succeeded because he is exceptionally smart. But Buffett himself has said that investing doesn't require genius. His real advantage was something far less glamorous and far more uncomfortable. He learned how to wait. Not the kind of waiting that comes from indecision or fear, but a deliberate, disciplined patience that compounds quietly over time. In a world obsessed with speed, activity, and constant action, Buffett chose stillness. That choice changed everything. If patience is available to anyone, why do so few investors benefit from it? And how did waiting, when done correctly, become one of the most profitable skills in the history of investing? For decades, Warren Buffett has been portrayed as a financial genius with a rare intellectual gift. But Buffett has consistently pushed back against that image. He once said, "You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Investing is not a game where the guy with the 160 IQ beats the guy with the 130 IQ. What he was really saying is uncomfortable for many investors. If brilliance isn't required, then lack of success can't be blamed on a lack of intelligence. The truth is that most people know enough to do well over time. The problem isn't understanding numbers or reading reports, it's behavior. Markets don't reward who knows the most, they reward who can think clearly when others can't. And once you remove intelligence as the main advantage, a more powerful question appears. If it's not IQ, what actually separates long-term winners from everyone else? Modern markets are designed to reward movement. Prices update every second. News never stops. Activity feels productive, even when it isn't. Buying and selling gives investors the illusion of control. But this constant motion often leads to one costly mistake: impatience. Buffett understood that the market quietly transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. Waiting, in his view, was not doing nothing. It was a deliberate choice to avoid low-quality decisions while preserving capital for the right moments. Most investors treat waiting as wasted time. Buffett treated it as preparation. By staying inactive when opportunities were scarce, he positioned himself to act decisively when conditions were favorable. This is why waiting became a competitive advantage. But patience alone is not enough. Waiting only works when it's paired with discipline, clarity, and a clear understanding of what you're waiting for. One of Buffett's most overlooked strengths is how rarely he acts. He has often compared investing to a game where there are no called strikes. You can stand at the plate all day and wait for the perfect pitch. Most investors swing constantly because they feel pressure to participate. Buffett doesn't. He waits for opportunities that are so clear that the risk of doing nothing feels greater than the risk of acting. By limiting the number of decisions he makes, he reduces the chances of serious mistakes. Each decision carries more weight, more thought, and more conviction. This approach sounds simple, but it creates a problem most investors are not prepared for. When action is rare, patience is tested, and the real challenge is no longer analytical. It becomes psychological. Why most investors can't wait? Waiting sounds easy in theory, but emotionally, it's one of the hardest things an investor can do. Boredom sets in when nothing is happening. Fear of missing out appears when others seem to be making quick gains. Social comparison quietly adds pressure, making inactivity feel like failure. These emotions are, amplified by a constant stream of headlines, alerts, and opinions. Every update demands a reaction, even when no action is needed. This environment slowly erodes patience. Buffett recognized this early. He understood that the biggest threat to good decision-making wasn't lack of information, but too much of it. Most investors live inside the noise. Buffett chose distance, and that choice wasn't accidental. He structured his life and his process in a way that protected his ability to wait, even when the market demanded urgency. Time as a business partner. Buffett often describes compounding as a snowball rolling downhill. The key, he says, is to start with a small snowball and find a very long hill. What's important is what he leaves out. You can't push the snowball faster by working harder. Compounding doesn't respond to effort, intelligence, or constant adjustments. It responds only to time. This is why waiting mattered so much to Buffett. Time wasn't just a backdrop to his investing. It was an active partner in the process. Each year of inactivity allowed the snowball to grow quietly, layer by layer. Many investors underestimate this because time feels passive. But compounding is fragile. It depends on continuity, and that's where most people fail. Because time only delivers its full power when you allow it to run uninterrupted. Compounding needs time. The cost of interrupting compounding. Interrupting compounding rarely feels dangerous in the moment. Selling, switching, or reacting often feels responsible, even smart. The damage isn't immediate or visible. There's no clear loss on the screen. Instead, the real cost shows up quietly as missed growth over time. Every interruption forces the snowball to start again on a smaller hill. Buffett understood that the greatest risk wasn't temporary declines, but permanent interruptions. He focused less on short-term fluctuations and more on whether the underlying business could keep compounding. Most investors measure mistakes by what they lose. Buffett measured them by what they never got the chance to earn. Avoiding unnecessary action preserved the long-term curve. And this discipline didn't come from superior analysis alone. It came from something deeper. This is where Buffett's temperament mattered far more than any technical investing skill. Temperament over technique. Buffett has often said that investing success depends more on temperament than intelligence. His true edge was emotional stability. When markets surged, he didn't chase excitement. When they fell, he didn't rush to escape discomfort. While others reacted to fear or euphoria, Buffett stayed anchored to long-term reality. This calm behavior looks passive from the outside, but it requires discipline most people never develop. Technique can be learned. Temperament must be practiced. During moments of market panic, prices move faster than fundamentals. Buffett saw these moments not as threats, but as tests of emotional control. His ability to remain steady allowed him to see clearly when others couldn't. And this emotional steadiness didn't just affect his actions. It shaped how he interpreted market declines, turning periods of fear into something entirely different. Temperament beats technique. Waiting through discomfort. One of the most difficult parts of waiting is accepting how it feels. Buffett has spent long periods doing nothing while markets moved without him. At times, his positions underperformed and his decisions looked outdated. He was willing to appear wrong before being proven right. For most investors, this kind of discomfort is unbearable. Inactivity feels like neglect. Silence feels like error. But Buffett understood that short-term judgment is a poor measure of long-term success. He allowed time to resolve uncertainty instead of forcing action to relieve anxiety. Waiting didn't eliminate discomfort, it required enduring it. And often, the decision that feels most painful in the moment is the one that protects long-term outcomes. This mindset changes everything. Because once you accept discomfort as part of the process, you begin to redefine what winning actually means. Redefining what winning looks like. Warren Buffett never measured success by annual rankings or short-term performance. He wasn't trying to win this year, he was trying to win over a lifetime. That distinction changes how every decision is made. Short-term validation feels good, but it's unreliable and often misleading. Long-term outcomes, on the other hand, are quiet and slow, but far more meaningful. Buffett accepted periods of underperformance because he understood the time frame he was playing on. While others chased immediate proof that they were right, he focused on whether his approach would still make sense 10 or 20 years later. This long view unified everything we've discussed. Waiting, fewer decisions, emotional control, and uninterrupted compounding all point to the same idea. Winning isn't about constant success. It's about staying aligned with principles long enough for time to do the work. Warren Buffett's success can be traced to one quiet principle: patience, guided by temperament, reinforced by time. None of these traits are mysterious, but all of them are emotionally demanding. Waiting can be learned, but it requires resisting urgency, ignoring noise, and accepting discomfort without constant validation. Most investors know what to do. Few can stick with it long enough. Buffett did. Not by being smarter, but by being steadier. This is the advantage that compounds when others give up. At Wealth Surge, this way of thinking matters. Because long-term wealth isn't built through constant action. It's built by knowing when to wait and having the discipline to do it. Not smarter, steadier.